So now that we've talked about all of Disturbed's albums up to this point, we're going to be talking about their 2011 B-side album known as The Lost Children, which was released right before their 4-year hiatus and contains 6 bonus tracks that, if you're a casual listener to Disturbed and have only bought their standard editions, would not have ever heard before. A lot of these songs going into this album, I actually thought, why are they releasing this? I already have this. But then I look at the meat of it all, such as, songs like 3 and Old Friend and Monster and things that have never seen the light of day other than on this release. I actually skipped this in 2011 and only got it when I found that I was going to be doing the Disturbed discography because I figured, why the hell not? I'll just listen to the entirety of this album and then tell you guys what I think of it. So, this album spans throughout all of Disturbed's career. You'll find songs from The Sickness, Believe, and pretty much every single album. Actually, I don't really know about Believe. Well, yeah, you'll find a song from Believe. It's Midlife Crisis, but they did re-record it, so it's not the original song from Believe. It's actually from the Indestructible sessions, so I don't really know if that counts. Basically, it spans throughout their entire career, 11 years up to this point. So there's not much cohesion on this album. I'll state that right now, but it's a greatest hits pretty much. It's a compilation album, so you don't really expect there to be any cohesion. But, on albums such as Who Made Who, there was a ton of cohesion. They sounded good together, and all the tracks kind of formed, a main regular conventional album. So basically with this album, it's basically just a bunch of tracks all in one, and I am not going to give it a rating as I don't rate compilation albums. So basically, I'm just going to say what I think of it overall. A lot of these tracks, I don't know why they were rejected. Tracks like A Welcome Burden I can kind of see, but Hell is a fantastic opener, and it was from the 10,000 Fifths album, or it was going to be. I think it was a B-side from Stricken or something like that. So I suppose maybe they just need some extra songs to entice listeners to buy their single albums, but then again, there's really no point in that, because you can just get the whole thing. This Moment was from the Transformer movie. I don't think it was ever played in the movie, but it's kind of like on Daredevil, where Nickelback, of all bands I have to mention Nickelback, released a song. I forget what it's called, but it's only on the bonus edition of The Long Road and the soundtrack. So it's kind of like that, where it's just an extra track that's not on the conventional album standard release. So, Old Friend, this one is interesting because it actually has some subject matter about Dexter, the serial killer on TV who works for Miami Metro. This show was actually about halfway through its run when this album was released. And when this song was recorded, I should say. This was recorded for the Asylum record. So it was about halfway through Dexter's run. So I suppose maybe, it sounds like something Disturbed would write about. Dark, heavy subject matter about, demons and murder, and it sounds really good. The same thing with 3. It's a song that is sticking up for 3 people that were accused of murder that pretty much everyone knows or thinks are innocent. So it's in support of that. I think they were sentenced to death. I'm not sure if that went through or not. Don't quote me on it. I'm not entirely sure. Dehumanized was played live with Music as a Weapon 2 when they play their Fade to Black cover from Metallica. So that's where that's from. Living After Midnight, the song I just got done talking about on Asylum, is actually on here. And it's a more complete edition on here. I think the one on Asylum was what, like 4 minutes, 17 seconds? This one is 4 minutes and 25 seconds and contains more of the Painkiller drum intro that I forgot to mention on my Asylum review, of course. The Painkiller intro kind of fleshes out this song and turns it into a monstrous riff fest that is very guitar driven, and the vocals come together, and it's just absolutely perfect with this intro. I actually think I like this version better than the version that I was found on Asylum, just because it contains the entire intro. But the one in Asylum, for some reason, starts, well, couple seconds into it, maybe 10 seconds into it, which is kind of disappointing. But overall, with this album, what you see is what you get. If you like Disturbed, you'll like this. If you've heard all these songs before, it's probably not worth a buy if you already have all these songs, like when they came out. But it's basically just to tide fans over until Immortalized was released, which when this album was released, you didn't know about Immortalized, so I suppose it was to tide fans over until Disturbed got back on their feet. So overall, I would say it's a good album. It's decent, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for anyone who already has all these songs because there's really no point in getting it. So, with that, thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.